Hey Deej, sorry I couldn't make it. Hope you guys have a great time. Went ahead and put some, and got some of your photos and stuff, put them together for you. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Your attention, please. The Santa Fe and Disneyland passenger train, the E.P. Ripley, now loading on track number 1 for a trip around Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. All aboard!
Now, is that the face of a megalomaniac or what? Hi everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there, Deej. But maybe I can send a little piece of me along. I got all these photos from your mom and Joanne, and I was really surprised. There's quite a few here that I've never ever seen. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of go along and free narrate along with this, because you know when you plan it never comes out the way that you want it to anyways. So Donald and I met when we were in 8th grade. I had just moved to Las Vegas, and we had a what was called at the time an AV class, where you do video broadcasting in the morning and it goes out to all the other rooms. And we got to be real good friends in class. And one day I'm at home on a weekend. I'm trying to find my brother and kill him for doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. And then all of a sudden Donald comes riding through my neighborhood. Here he is, decked out with all of his karate gear, hanging all over his bike, and all the padding and all the wooden swords and everything else from his class. And we started talking and decided to go over and hang out and see where he lived. So he decided this was a great opportunity to see if he could try and kill me. Anyways, on his way over to his house, we stopped off at somebody else's house, and instead of us both going up, he kind of misled me to think that that was his house. And as I'm walking up to the front of it, this great big huge Doberman Pinscher jumps at the gate and nearly takes my arm off. And then I turn to look back, and DJ's sitting on his bike on the sidewalk, laughing and doing his goofy little giggle. Laughing, well, just thought you'd like to meet Cujo or whatever the heck that thing was. And he says, I'm like, this is not your dog? He's like, oh, heck no. I live down the street. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I see what kind of person DJ is. So anyways, went to his house, and after that, my parents never saw much of me for the next few years. We pretty much stayed together all the time. We're always doing something. Both of us were big-time practical jokers, so we were always playing tricks on each other. One time we went out in the desert and we're shooting arrows into the air to see how close we can get them to come down next to us. This is before we ever saw like Gladiator or anything like that, before we realized, you know, those things can actually kill you. One time we were messing around in his room and pulling back the arrow, and he accidentally let it go, and it went right through his wall. I'm like, you're going to get in a lot of trouble for that. He says, nope, watch this. He goes over, picks up a picture, hangs it on the wall. They'll never even notice. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We were just always doing crazy things. We had a great time. We were the best of friends. We did a boat trip one year. Oh, before I get too far, I wanted to show you Donald's true love. Well, at least his first love. He's always been a Mickey Mouse nut all his life, ever since I've known him. That was the big thing. He's always volunteering me for projects. Well, if you come help us do this, there's a Disneyland trip in it for you. So I'd be like, okay, well, let's go do it, and we'll go have some fun. It got to a point where sometimes I was afraid to go over and visit Deej, because I didn't know what kind of project we were going to get involved with, whether it was stripping paint off of the Corvette, knocking a hole through the wall and installing a chimney, or basically moving the Great Wall of China out of the backyard and transporting it to the dump. there was always some kind of a major project going on over there. And sometimes my folks or my mother would ask me, why aren't you going over to Donald's? And like, because I think they're starting another project and I'm a little bit afraid. I got to tell you about this one trip that we took one year. It was Donald, Steve, and myself. We decided to go on this boat trip. So we rented this boat from the base, and we took it up towards Utah and out to some hot springs and some other place. And it's pretty amazing. I think the boat lost probably 200 pounds worth of stuff before we ever got it back to the base. And I don't know how much Steve had to pay to have everything replaced. I do remember we were sitting out there in the water, and Steve tells me to throw in the anchor. I pick up the anchor and I throw it in the water and watch the rope go right along with the end of it. We never had it tied onto the boat. And it was like, whoop. Okay, I think we'll need to buy a new anchor now. And we're pulling it down these old dirt roads, and just the vibration alone was just enough to shake all the nuts and bolts loose on it. We lost the fender. I think we lost the license plate. We lost some of the other hardware that was holding it together. This thing was pretty much just about duct tape back together when Steve took it back to the base. One of my favorite things I used to get back at Deej was I'd go over to his house at about 4 in the morning on the Sunday, and I'd beg him, please give me a hand. I used to throw newspapers, and he'd get up. And he's like, oh, just give me 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And sometimes it'd be an hour before he finally rolled out of bed. And I'd be out in his garage and be rolling newspapers, putting them in the back of the truck. And he'd help me. I can't remember a time he did not get up and give me a hand with it. And we would go and we'd throw newspapers and we'd have a blast. And we'd laugh and joke and do stupid stuff and wing them all over the place and take out a few few dogs in the process. But we always managed to have a good time. His jokes were sometimes a little bit more scary than mine. For instance, one night we're driving home, and we're coming from the base, and decided to take a shortcut through a neighborhood out near the base. And we're driving down the road, which is lit, but they never finished it. And so we always kind of turn off that road and we take a different route. And this time I was going to turn. DJ's like, no, what are you turning for? And I'm like, because the road's not done. He says, yeah, they finished it. I've seen them out here 2 weeks ago. They finished off the road. It's all done. I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, are you going to trust me or not? I'm like, all right. So instead of slowing down, I went ahead and brought the car back up to about 50 miles an hour. And next thing you know, we're sailing through the air. There is no road under us. It's just a huge ditch. And I thought we'd almost destroyed the car. We bounced off the ground a couple of times. It was a big cloud of dust and come skidding to a stop. We're both just kind of turning white, looking at each other. He starts giggling and laughing and everything else, and I'm like, what the hell are you trying to do? Are you trying to kill us? And he's like, well, really, I thought they finished it. And I'm like, no, you didn't. He says, yeah, I know. I said, what the heck did you do that for? He says, I can't help it. I just thought it would be funny. So it was always some kind of a joke or something like that, you know, that we would do to each other and goof around. On that same fishing trip, I remember Deej almost jumped out of the boat because Steve pulled up a crawdad out of the water and was dangling it right in front of Donald's face on the end of the fishing line. And that's the first time I ever thought I was going to see him have a heart attack, and it was pretty darn funny. Yeah, the big thing was all the volunteering stuff that we got to do. There was always a project going on whenever I went over there. But you know what? it was still a lot of fun. We got to experience a lot of really cool things. DJ and I were always explorers, so we were always going off trying new things and exploring around and having a great time. I always give him crap about these because it always seemed like he was a professional student. I didn't think he was ever going to finish up college. I didn't think it was ever going to come to an end. I thought it was just going to be a full-time, forever student. But I know he got burnt out on it a few times. And he didn't think he was going to make it through either, but he finally pulled it off. If you notice his t-shirts, they're always Disney. I mean, I don't think he's got any other kind of shirts. That's all I've ever seen him in, is pretty much Disney shirts of some sort. He ought to own stock in Disney, as much money as he invests there. He almost got me fired from my job one year when I was a pizza delivery guy. He shows up at my house early Saturday morning. He's like, Les, get up. We got to get ready to go. I'm like, go where? I got to work today. What are you talking about? He says, no. We're going skiing. We decided to just do a quick trip up to Utah and go skiing. I'm like, crap, man. I'm supposed to work today. I can't just call in and tell him I'm not going to show up. He says, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So I called my job since I wasn't going to be able to make it in and I had something else that was going on, and left a message for them, but unfortunately they never got the message. So we went skiing. We were gone for 2 days. We came back, I think it was Sunday night or something like that, and I went to work on Monday, and they're like, where the hell have you been? We've been trying to get a hold of you. And I was like, well, I left a message. I don't remember what excuse, if I just told them I was calling in sick or whatever. But I remember they were highly upset, and then I was telling Dee, just like, see, you can't do that kind of stuff. He says, well, that's just the way we are, you know. You got to be ready. We got into flying RC airplanes, and we did that until we realized how expensive it was going to be, and we couldn't maintain that habit anymore or afford to do that anymore. And really, DJ didn't have the patience to build planes anyways. I always gave him crap about that. One year he built this Cessna with retractable landing gear. And if you know anything about Cessnas, it's just a small airplane with the wheels that are always supposed to hang down, but he wasn't very good with kits of that type. I'd always tease him about it, you know, but we always had a great time. And this last photo, well, I'm sorry, Joan, I was just having fun with Deej, so I hope you forgive me. Anyways, happy birthday, Deej. I hope you guys have a great time while you're out there. I've been thinking of you. Wish I could be there with you. And I sure do miss you a lot.